Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Mets Daily here on the Fan Arch Network. John Saponaro here with you today and every day to talk about our New York Mets. And of course, before we get started, a quick shout out goes to our friends over at Kalshi for sponsoring the video for a limited time. Use the code FANARCHBASEBALL on the Kalshi app to get $10 when you trade 10. And I should also mention, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, you're going to want to do that because you're going to want to be a part of the growing community here on Mets Daily, sitting at just over 4,000 subscribers, trying to get to 5,000 by the end of the 2026 Major League Baseball season. I know that feels like a little bit of a tall order, but I think it's possible. I think if we continue the momentum, I think that we can get there. Anyway, our New York Mets drop the game last night with the Atlanta Braves. It was a tidy, kind of clean shutout for the Braves, 4-0. It felt like it was nothing forever. Eventually, the Braves break through on Nolan McLean, who suffers the loss. We'll talk about him in a second. With the solo home run on an 0-2 pitch, given up to Ozzie Albies, and that was enough. The Braves did not need more because Martin Perez was really good. And look, when you talk about guys like Martin Perez and you look at the stuff and you look at the age and you say, how is this guy still pitching in Major League Baseball? How is this guy pitching at the level that he is pitching to in Major League Baseball right now? How do lefties continue to pitch in Major League Baseball when their stuff gets diminished, when they're at an advanced age? You watch that. You saw it last night. It's the mastery of the craft. It's being tricky. It's being crafty. It's what we saw with Jose Quintana from the left side with the New York Mets. It's what we saw from the right side with Bartolo Colon near the end of his career. It's what we thought maybe we would see with Sean Manaea a bit, but he's actually kind of ticked his stuff back up. And this is just what happens sometimes. So, the Mets fall in this game. No offense to speak of, but like I said, just a really well-pitched game, honestly, on both sides, but especially from the Braves and Martin Perez, who really just stood the Mets on their heads. They had a couple of opportunities here or there. There was a first and third, one out. Luis Robert hits into a double play. They didn't have a ton of chances. They didn't come through when they had the chances, obviously. So what you're left with is a baseball game where the New York Mets just did not literally do anything. So to say that they didn't do enough would be an understatement, but the Mets they didn't get it done. And look, we can talk positively about what has been a really great week of Mets baseball, despite the fact that the season is over, despite the fact that they ain't making the playoffs, and we know that. But games like this are going to happen. The Atlanta Braves are a good team. The Atlanta Braves are going to get theirs. And maybe the Mets rebound today and take the rubber game like they did against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they close out this road trip on a really high note. I would like to see it. I would like to see the Mets go out, beat Tyler Mahle. I would like to see the Mets get a good start from Zach Thornton. I would like to see the Mets offense come back. I would like to see the Mets bullpen rebound, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Because again, I'm not rooting for losses. I don't want to see the Mets play bad baseball. We watched enough of bad baseball April, May, June, July. I don't want to see it. I want to see the Mets play good baseball. And right now they are. Even in a loss, they played a good game. So let's see that continue. Let's see if the Mets can rebound. And if they do, it would be what? 2 versus the Braves. So 2 versus the Pirates. 3 with 3 wins versus the Guardians. So that would be what? It's a 9-game trip. And that would be 5. That would be an unbelievable road trip, right? To go 7-9 on the road trip. 7-2 on the 9-game trip. That would be, excuse me, doing math on the fly. I was did not set out to talk about it. So I didn't have anything written down. Just trying to piece together how many games they've actually played. That'd be a really strong road trip for this team. And again, you're looking for building blocks. So when a game like this happens and they lose, it doesn't really matter, right? Because we understand where the season is at right now, and that's fine. But the losses matter because let's see how they respond. You get shut out, don't get shut out. Score some runs. You don't pick up your pitcher the next game. You want to see the rebound. You have an opportunity to win a series, go win it. The Mets already took the season series from the Braves. We talked about that yesterday. They sealed that deal. You know what? Take one more. Come on, get greedy. In a lost season, who cares? Get greedy. Beat your division rivals. Make it mean something. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing later on today, and hopefully they can do just that. And then they head home to Citi Field feeling really good. And look, a 6-3 road trip is not going to be bad, but a 7-2 road trip feels really, really good. And that's what I want them to get to. We have to talk about Nolan McLean because this guy, despite the fact that he didn't have everything working all the time, he really bared down. And he was really, really good. And it shows you just how good this guy can be. It is not hyperbole. It is not conjecture. It is not exaggeration when you say this guy could be an ace. And not just the Mets number one, a true ace. Because you've watched the growth we all have in the maturation. And when he got here, he burst on the scene and he was a phenomenon. And he had unbelievable 8 starts last year. We get that. But then this year, he's not great. He's not instantly great. He deals with adversity. He looks like a young pitcher. He can't get everything working. The breaking stuff breaks too much. He can't locate. He's not throwing enough strikes. But he's learning. He's adjusting. And there was that stretch where nothing worked and he looked bad. He looked poor. But he's bounced back from that. He's bounced back from that in a major way, and we've talked about it on this show a bunch. But now what he's done is he's come through that, and he gave you great start, and the guy was firing on all cylinders. Then there's a game like today where he doesn't even seem right. But you look up, and it's 6 innings, 1 run on what was a poorly executed 0-2 pitch. So he deserved better than he got. Can't blame anybody but himself. He gave up 1 bad pitch and it cost him a loss. It cost the Mets the game effectively. But Nolan McLean is going to be so good. It's all right there for him to be so good. And maybe down the stretch of the season we see it. Maybe he starts to put it all together. I mean, you have to remember how young this guy is, not just in literal age, but just in terms of his pitching age. 2-way player in college, full-time pitcher for like 2 years. The guy is learning at a high level, quickly, at the major league level, adjusting against the best competition in the world. And what he's doing is nothing short of terrific. And I would like to see it. But I don't care. We don't need to see it. It'd be extra, be the icing on the cake. But I'd like to see a run here, maybe in September, maybe the end of this month, maybe from his next start through the end of the season. I'd like to see him go on one of those runs like he did last year when he first came up, where it was 8 starts and it was like, God, this guy's good. I don't think we need that. That's asking for a lot. It's asking for extra. Like, I still have so much faith in what this player can be. But kind of like I said about the series, like, hey, go and show off. You already won the season series. Screw it. Go win another one. With Nolan McLean, it's like, look, I know how good you're going to be, dude. But screw it. Go out and be even better. Like, hammer it down. Show Mets fans who are latching on for something, for all these little nuggets for 2027. Give them a big one. I don't know how many starts he has left. It's probably something like 8 or whatever. Maybe it's 1 more or whatever, 2 more. Who knows? I could do the math. I'm not going to. But go out there, man, and shove. That's what I would love to see. I would love to get on this show every time after a Nolan McLean start and have the headline on the side and have the bottom read, Nolan McLean wins again. 7 innings, 10 strikeouts. 6 innings, 8 strikeouts. Another W. Lowers his ERA. That's what I want to do these shows about with Nolan McLean. I'm itching for it. And he's got the talent to do it. We'll just see if he can. Baseball season is here, and now you can trade every game on Kalshi. And you know what I do. I sit down to record this show, and before I do, I try to find something on Kalshi. I open up the app and see if I can find something interesting, fun, or at the very least, good value. as it relates to usually our New York Mets. Every once in a while, get involved in some futures. Every once in a while, we'll look across the league. But right now, trying to stick with the New York Mets. And look, over the last 2 days, I kept it really simple. It worked one day. It didn't work the next. But I'm going to beat that drum again because I like these pitching matchups. The Mets went out there with Christian Scott versus Bryce Elder. I thought they'd win. They did. I doubled down on it. Nolan McLean versus Martin Perez. I thought they'd win. They didn't. But it was through no fault of his. It was a close game. It was a good game like we've talked about. Today we've got Zach Thornton versus Tyler Mahle. Mahle was really the only pitching acquisition at the deadline who performed well in his first start. And I like Zach Thornton, though. Guy throws strikes. It's a little tricky because the Braves don't walk. You've got this irresistible force, immovable object butting heads right now. Zach Thornton doesn't walk people, and the Braves don't walk. So a little bit of that scares you because if he's throwing a lot of strikes and they're there trying to hit strikes, maybe they beat him up a little bit. But I'm going to be positive, John, here. So far, the episode has been positive after a loss, so let's continue those vibes. Let's continue that same thought process. Nolan McLean, Zach Thornton, go out there and do your thing. Pitching to like a 2-something ERA. Go ahead and continue that. As Mets fans look for something to build off of. Because again, the odds favor the Atlanta Braves. A Mets win right now, 42 cents a share, which means $100 will get you $233. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there is no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy into and out of your position. For a limited time, you already know, download the Kalshi app. Use the code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi, trade on anything. Must be 18 and over. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risks and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory. Now, I have on this show, within reason, I think, I have waxed poetic about how good this bullpen has been, despite the fact that they traded damn near every player who was productive from it. And the bullpen has a lot of guys in there trying to come back, like Daniel Nunez. A lot of guys in there trying to make their names for themselves, like Nate Lavender and Jeffrey Yan. A lot of guys trying to prove that what they've done is not been a fluke, like Daniel Duarte. A lot of guys trying to figure out what the next step is for their major league career, like Kodai Senga. And they've been damn good. They've been damn good. And this game was a little bit of a regression. Jeffrey Yan gives up the sac fly. And then you get the 2-run home run from Chase McDermott, or off of Chase McDermott. But again, the Mets this game was over. When you don't score, the game's over at 1-0. So these runs that sort of put the game out of reach, they're not blow-up outings. You know, I'll take it. They were due for some regression. And like I've talked about, even with all the bright spots, even with all the good stories in this bullpen of guys trying to make the next thing out of their career, they're not all going to stick. You know, it'd be great if the Mets bullpen was electric from here on out and all of them were in the bullpen in 2027 and it worked out. But we know that's not going to happen. So for as good as they've been, they were due a little bit of a setback, and this was that setback. But again, I don't know if the Mets are winning this game. Now, of course, you have a better chance to win the game at 1-0 than you do at 4-0, especially late. But it just is what it is. The Mets bullpen gets a setback. It's not what we want to see. But now you know what? Let's be positive again. Here's the opportunity, right? Zach Thornton, you got an opportunity to show that you can do it. It's not a fluke. It's not smoke and mirrors, whatever. Mets, you have an opportunity to go out, win another series, have a road trip that's 7-2 instead of 6-3. For the bullpen, for Jeffrey Yan, for Chase McDermott, and the rest of them, you got an opportunity now. Bounce back. Nolan McLean, you have the opportunity to go out there and shove for 8 starts or 10 starts or whatever. Do it. Bullpen Jeffrey Young, go out there and shove. If your number gets called again, go out there and push through and show everybody what you can do. Because, again, this season is about evaluation now, and that's all you can ask. That's all you can ask for from these players. And so I like what they've been doing, but we knew it wasn't going to. No bullpen is going to be perfect forever. And especially this new Mets revamped bullpen, we knew was not going to be perfect forever. So when you look at what they've done, it's been really good so far. And now let's see. Let's see what the next thing they can do is. And that brings us to our final topic of the day. A person that we have talked about so many times before on this show. I'll try to keep this brief because you know I'm a Lindor fan, and I know some of you aren't, and it's ridiculous, but whatever. Article in the New York Post, which you know I don't love, but Lindor spoke. Lindor spoke on the record. This was not through back channels. This was point blank. And I appreciate Lindor for coming out, taking a stand, standing on business. And I wish I could read the entire article, but the New York Post puts it behind a paywall, so I couldn't. So I had to skim. I had to go to the aggregator accounts on Twitter. I had to read blurbs at a time, and I think I got the gist or most of the article in pieces, people posting screenshots and quotes. The New York Post will do anything to get you to sign up, and I ain't signing up. But the short version of it is, Francisco Lindor says, look, I plan to be here for my contract. We have the right players here. And we have the right person here in charge with David Stearns. And Steve Cohen is one of the best owners in sports. And we are going to figure it out. And I plan to be here and I plan to be a part of the solution. Now, you may disagree with some of the stuff that he said. And that's fine. It's your prerogative. You can do that. You might think he's crazy. You might think he's wrong. You might disagree on everything. You might disagree on one part. You might say, yeah, I don't like Stearns. I like what he said, but I don't like Stearns. Fine. You might say, I don't like Cohen because I don't. Well, fine. Whatever. The bottom line is this is a guy who, at different points in his Mets tenure, has been criticized for not being enough of a leader, even though it's clear he is a leader. He's been criticized for how he chooses to lead. He's been the reason, the lightning rod that everybody blames anytime anything goes wrong. Fairly, unfairly, mostly unfairly in my opinion. But yet there he is. The guy always answers the questions. The guy always stands in front of his locker. And now he's coming out and he is standing on business. And you don't have to agree. And you don't have to like it. But you should respect it. Because if you're being honest with yourself about what you want from a player, it's exactly this. And if you listen to this, and again, you might disagree with a point. You might say you don't like Stearns. Fine. But if you read this, you hear it, and you say, Lindor's a clown, you're wrong. You're just flat wrong. Because this guy gets it. And too many times in my Mets fandom, I had to watch as people would lament during the Wilpon ownership. How come we never get this star player? How come this person never wants to play here? Why we offer the money? Why is it never enough? Why do we never go the extra mile? Why doesn't this guy work out? We trade for this player. We sign this player. It doesn't work. You trade for Lindor. He's a star when you trade for him. He's been a star here. He says the right stuff. He puts the onus on himself. He works, he works, he works. And like I said, he's been great. I think he needs to finish out his career as a New York Met. You're going to see number 12 on the wall. You're going to see him with a plaque in Cooperstown with a Mets cap on. He's the best shortstop in the history of the franchise. Objectively. You might not want to hear that. You might not like it. It doesn't make it any less true. And for a fan base that used to lament, why don't we get guys like Francisco Lindor? You have him. He's right here. And now you don't want to take care of it. Now you don't want him. Now you want to throw him back. So I appreciate in a season like this where he got hurt, where the team's been bad, where he's bad. He was bad when he first came back. He's had these inconsistencies defensively. I understand all of that. But he comes out before the season is over and he says, hey, this is a group that can do it, and I want to be here, and I want to be a part of it. And everyone should want a ball player like that on their team. And if you don't, it says more about you than it does about Francisco Lindor. That's going to do it for this episode of Mets Daily. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Like I said before, sitting at just over 4,000, trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the season. We'd love to do it, but more importantly, we would love for you to be a part of the community that we are building here. Until next time, I'm John Saponaro. See you tomorrow.